What's up, guys? It's Pliskin Boy here. A little stink up happened. All the files that I've been recording for stuff like Halo, Metal Gear, I plan to make a ton of videos, but it got, like, my hard drive on my computer got messed up. So until I can fix that up, I'm going to be making some PUBG videos. And, if you've been around for a while, you know that when I'm traveling, I make PUBG videos. So today I'm going to do something different. Rather than just posting a match, I'm going to post a match, but I'm also going to give you some tips and tricks. This is going to be the beginning of a series in which I go over each of the 4 playable PUBG maps on PUBG Mobile, and I give you some tips, hints, and show you how to get to a win, or at least one way how to get to a win. So for the first map, Erangel or Erangel, however you want to pronounce it, you want to aim to go to either the ruins or a clump of houses that are near one of the bigger locations but not too close. The bigger locations, I find you get shot in the back with a shotgun or Thompson while you're trying to pick up a pistol, but if you get a nice clump of houses away from everyone else, you might have to contend with 1 or 2 guys, but it's not going to be a clusterfuck. So in terms of the beginning of the game, for this map here, you want to find these little patches of houses. In this case, me and my friend, we found a nice batch towards the end of the map, and that's where we ended up going to loot. I just want to make a quick note, in PUBG as well as many other games, you should avoid 45 ACP like the plague. Video games, for some reason, has something out against 45 ACP and tends to nerf it way too much, like the Vector and the 1911 in this game are complete garbage. That's why when I had no choice but pistols, I always tend to go for the M9, as you can see here, as it still does a decent amount of damage and you get more ammo. But yeah, just avoid 45 ACP. The only 45 ACP guns worth anything in this game would probably be just the Thompson. But even that's not all that good. It's a good choice if you have no other option, but even I'd avoid that. So after you go around to a couple of those little patches of houses in the beginning, if you're far out of the zones, don't panic on this map. You'll find a car more often than not, and you can ride to one of the more prevalent areas or anywhere where the zone's open, and that's what we do here. But if you have to run, don't worry. At the beginning of the game you get a lot of time, and even if the zone does catch up to you, it's very weak at the beginning of the game, meaning it'll kill you a lot slower than in the end game. Also, make sure to never underestimate the power of pistols in this game. A lot of people write them off, but as you can see here, they have their use. Once you do start finding larger guns though, make sure you make it a combo in the sense that you have 1 gun for longer range and 1 gun for closer range. Now, you're not always going to find the ideal weapons, for example like a long range SKS and then a shorter range SCAR, let's say. But if you can get an AR and AK variant here, like for example I got the M16 and the AKM, you can use the AK for closer range, and then the AR variant, you can use that for longer range. And I've said before in videos how the M16 works as a quasi-sniper, and well, so does the HK416. And both the AK-47 and M762 work at both mid and close range. So having a combo like this, if you can't find those ideal weapons, I definitely recommend it because it makes you a lot more versatile and deadly both at close range and long range. Now, besides the ruins and those little clumps of houses that you can go to, in Erangel or Erangel, again, whatever you want, these octagon type buildings make very good holdout points for both defense and offense. If you can get a guy covering the door and then a guy going around with a long range rifle staring out the windows, anyone that comes through this door, they're at a disadvantage because they have the awkwardness of coming upstairs, so they'll probably die. And then you get very good sniping positions and cover if you stay low in these buildings. So if you're in a tight spot and you need to retreat into a building, or you just want a good vantage point, I definitely recommend these weird octagon shaped buildings. Also, they come with this little side room, so if someone throws a grenade in here, you and your friend can just run into a corner there, or if it's just you, you can just run into a corner there, and more often than not, it'll shield you from the blast. So these buildings are a pretty good defensive, offensive. It's an all-in-one. You'd be dumb not to use these to your advantage. On this map, I also can't stress the importance of boats. There have been matches in which if the zone covers a large body of water, you can literally just go out on your boat, hide out in the water, let people kill each other, and then come in during the end game. Or if you have decent snipers, you can pick off a lot of kills from the safety of this boat. If someone starts sniping you, you just get out and swim behind the boat. So don't underestimate these things. They can be more valuable than cars in a lot of scenarios. So again, I'm going to put a little reminder in here just because, we made it here at this point during the match, that Ruins is a very great place to be. It has wonderful sniping positions. You more often than not, find extremely good loot. And there was one point where you can find those little falcons here, but I checked and I didn't see them this game, so I don't know. But all in all, Ruins is just a very good all-rounder place to be. It's one of the only larger locations that I'll go to just because it's worth the risk and there's ways to get around the risk. Now, although most times I'll say to avoid the drops in this game just because it's way too big of a risk and more often than not it'll get you killed, when you inevitably go for a box, make sure to scope it out before you get there. Like here you'll see as I'm getting closer, I notice there's a guy that's waiting for people to get to the box, so make sure it's clear and you don't spend any more than around 15 to 30 seconds there. Also, take note that the armor and backpack that you'll get from the box more often than not is more valuable than the weapons inside. Also, if you remember my list, the SKS is the best all-rounder weapon in this game just because of its versatility, and well, you can watch the list to give you a justification. Yeah, it's weird because the SKS is actually a really crappy gun in real life, especially this variant. It's like the Chinese souped it up to be like mag-fed when it was never meant to be mag-fed, and it jams, it's unreliable, it's not really that accurate, it's a mess. But I noticed that there's a lot of Chinese guns in this game that seem to perform a lot better than their real-life counterparts, so I guess PUBG just kind of has a China boner or something like that. Yeah, just wanted to complain a little bit about that. Here at the end game, it's very important to remember to have a versatile weapon. Now, a lot of people will prioritize drop guns more often than not, though. You'll find that the versatile weapons that you can find around the map tend to work better. Here you can see my buddy has an AUG, but he's missing a lot of his shots because the AUG, while being killer up close, it's not really much of a long-range darling. That's one thing PUBG got right. However, a lot of people tend to almost deify the drop weapons, and you really shouldn't get in the habit of doing that. But instead, focus on getting those guns that do what you really need them to do in this final round, which is work really far range or really close. And my top threes is the SKS, HK416, and the UMP because they work really well at far and close range. And in these final rounds, that's really what it ends up being. You're either sniping a guy across the map or you're shooting a guy in the grass next to you. So keep that in mind. Don't prioritize drop weapons too much. Just find the guns that get the job done. Anyways, guys, enjoy the rest of this match and watch my buddy save my ass.